Scheduling sex, good idea or not so much? Hi, I'm Nancy, and welcome to Healthy Thoughts Wellness Center channel. If you haven't watched any of my other videos in regards to relationships, I hope that you do, and click that subscribe button so you don't miss any more in the future. Now, scheduling sex is very, very important, and I often encourage my clients to do so. Let's take this scenario. You have this really close, intimate relationship with your spouse and have some really great sex the night before, and the next day they do something that's really bitchy or really, wow, you're a real jerk for doing that, or you really hurt my feelings. Most likely, if you have had good sex the night before, you're a little more happy when you wake up. You're a little more touchy-feely. You're a little bit more playful. You're a little bit more giddy. Why? Because you've had this wonderful experience and your brain is still spitting out some really good serotonin, dopamine, cuddle, love hormones to make you feel happy and good. And do you know that when we're happy, we have more energy, we're more forgiving and more loving. Therefore, sex does equal better communication and a better relationship. I have worked with couples that haven't had sex for an entire year. It's really hard for them to get back. But we start by a fake it till you make it concept. Little pecks on the cheek, a little touch here and there. Pretty soon they're sitting on the couch, they're holding hands, they're touching each other, and we start to get back to the road of a healthy sex life. Now, if we take the first scenario and somebody was really bitchy or did something that you're like, wow, you're a real jerk, and you haven't had sex in quite a while, let me tell you, you're probably going to say you're a real bitch, or you're probably going to say you're a real jerk, or something even worse. Why? Because you're only thinking about that. You don't have this vision and this internal emotional memory that there's more to that person. So you immediately blame the person, you attack their character, and you label them as a jerk, as a bitch, whatever it is. So again, when we have that close experience with a person the night before, the morning of whatever, we're usually much more forgiving, and we can step back and say, wow, that was a really jerk, thing to do. However, I can step back and say, that's kind of out of his character, and I can kind of let that slide. Couples that have regular sex, and I'm talking about at least 2 times a week, regular sex, usually report better communication, more playfulness, and less fights. And when they do fight, they are less intense. So if you want to help your communication, I would encourage you to get on the path of having a healthy and regular sex life. If you don't have that, start by small touches or start by planning sex. Now, even though sometimes people go, if I plan it, that's so boring. Hey, you can have spontaneous sex anytime that you want. But if you don't want to go weeks or even a month without sex or longer, it's better in a busy lifestyle to get into the habit of planning ahead. We're going to go to bed early. We're going to put the kids to bed early. We're going to make sure that we don't overwork. We're going to send sexy little text messages. We're going to pick up a flower. We're going to have a separate dinner, for us than the kids. We are planning ahead that it is Thursday night, and that is the night that I am dedicated to carving out time for my spouse to be intimate with them. It really, really is important. Besides the fact that you might have heard of a very famous book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Well, that guy is fantastic. Everything that he says is still true today. He's still up and running, although he's very, very much older, of course, now. But what he says is so wonderful. And he talks about that men are just like turned on, they're up like a light switch, right? And it is like a microwave. They can be on and ready to go. Women, you got to kind of light up the whole motherboard down there, so to speak. So it takes a while. They're more like a crock pot. And that's another reason is that if you plan ahead, your wife can also kind of get ready that whole day, and you can kind of get her ready by reminding her that this is the day, being nice, sending her messages. And so by the time it's time to have sex, it's not so spontaneous and she is ready and in the mood for it. All right, so if you have tried scheduled sex, I would love for you to write a comment below or text me any questions that you have below. I really believe in it. It's worked for a lot of couples. It might sound very boring and just unloving, but really, if you start doing it, I think it'll help you to have more spontaneous sex, and that will help you to have better communication and less fights with your spouse. Give it a try.